which is not politics right now, which is not politics. And if you want to call it the most romantic possible thing, I think you could call it revolutionary, right? Just like gangsterism is a familiar trope for us in our favorite American drama, we also romanticize revolution and revolutionaries as much as any country on earth. But what we are contending with in our politics right now is a movement that is not doing normal politics and is not competing in normal political terms. They're trying to end the American system of government. They're trying to bring about a revolution against the American system of government and against the United States of America. And in this story, we're the Americans. So yes, you know, being revolutionary sounds very cool in the abstract. Just like, you know, being gangster sounds very cool in the abstract. But in the specific, what they're actually offering is boring because it's just gross force. It's the end of politics. Let's just do it by force, because physically, we mean it just the way we say we're saying it. We mean it just the way you're hearing it. We're coming for you.
So, brother, you and all the other people, these are torturous conversations we're having. Don't torture yourself. Don't torture yourself. Get your passport, get the hell out of the country, because, hey, we're coming. And guess what, bro? You ain't going to like it one bit. Your crimes and your treason, Comey, all of you. Go ahead. Go to the ends of the earth. We will hunt you down and bring you back.
Drive the vermin out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Biden, you and your crime family are nothing but trash.
For Joe Biden and Dr. Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, all in the Biden, they're a bunch of feral dogs, right? It's a family of feral dogs. We're going to have to fumigate the lies of Joe Biden, the treason of Joe Biden, and how enfeebled he is. After that, it's not the tapes. We're coming after Lisa Monaco, Merrick Garland, the senior members of DOJ that have prosecuted President Trump, Jack Smith. That's where you come in. You're the vanguard of this revolution. We're going to do what the Romans did to Carthage. We're going to salt the earth around it so there'll never be another building there again. We're going to rebuild something else. There'll be something that comes up and is rebuilt along the lines that's appropriate. We've got to go back to the beginning. We've got to go back to Russiagate. We got to go back to who did that. We got to go back to Mueller's commission. We got to go back to Andrew Weissman and MSNBC and the New York Times and all of it. Right? Every FBI agent, all the CIA, DHS, Chris Wray, all of them. It's going to be a new day. And MAGA will run things. They're going to know that MAGA is not only ascendant, MAGA is in charge. It's very simple. Victory or death.
So this isn't, you know, red meat for the base. This isn't retribution, right? This is retribution as much as Tony Soprano's dad was providing protection to the local butcher. This is not a response to anything. What this is just menace and physical threat, right? It's not politics. It's just power. It's just force. They're just promising violence. That is what they're offering in this election, that this is how we should run the country now. We will hunt you down, and you'll know that we're in power. And we're going to get rid of law enforcement. We're going to salt the earth, and we're just going to hunt you down. I mean, and this is not some random right-wing media guy. This is the man who was the campaign manager for Donald Trump and also the senior White House advisor to the former president, who is now their nominee again. And it's not like he's the only one who's saying this thing. This is what they are offering the American public. And they love it. They're super excited to be getting, done with politics, getting right to the force and violence part of it.
The next 6 months is going to be intense. And we need to strap on our, let's see, what do we want to strap on? We're going to strap on our seatbelt. We're going to put on our helmet. Or your Carrie Lake ball cap. We are going to put on the armor of God. And maybe strap on a Glock on the side of us just in case.
We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media, and we will liberate America from these villains once and for all.
Don't you think for a second he's not going to unleash hell on all of his political enemies? This is where we are, and now we have to finish it.
You have to finish it once and for all. They keep saying things like that. Once and for all, finish it, vanquish them. Right? This is not politics. In a political contest, you compete against your fellow citizens with whom you have political disagreements, the rival political party. Whoever loses that fair race concedes, literally concedes, and then they come back. They have the opportunity to come back in the next election cycle and compete against you again. In real politics, nothing's ever finished. You never take power once and for all. Your enemies are not vanquished. But they are not trying to win a political contest. They are trying to do away with political contests in the United States of America, which might be why they're not putting much energy into the normal way of competing in this year's political contest. You may have seen this weekend. The former president went to Detroit, which of course seems like a normal thing for a political candidate to do, big city and a big swing state, and he went to a black church trying to appeal to a demographic where he has room to grow. But he goes to this black church in Detroit, and his campaign does not take any steps to avoid the pews being completely filled with white people, with white Trump supporters. Then on the day, the message of his supposed campaign is that he's trying to appeal to black voters, right? That's the whole point of doing this photo op. He then goes straight from that venue, stuffed with white people, to a conference hosted by this guy who has been in the news for the last few months for saying, quote, "We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the 1960s, saying that he thinks black people are not qualified to be airline pilots, that he worries if he's on a flight and sees that the pilot is black," who has been posting things like, quote, "Whiteness is great" on social media, who has been hosting guests on his podcast to talk about how black people are inherently biologically inferior and incapable of advanced intelligence. Someone who said literally MLK, meaning Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., quote, "MLK was awful, not a good person." So on the day your campaign message is, hey, black voters, look at me. Aren't I appealing? Going from the black church that's inexplicably full of white people right from there to go be with, to go do an appearance with the MLK was awful and the Civil Rights Act was a mistake guy. If that's how you're running your campaign, you are not trying very hard in normal campaign terms. But they are not trying very hard in normal campaign terms. They're not trying very hard to compete on normal political appeals. What they are trying to do instead is take power by menacing and chasing out of the country anyone who opposes their leader. All right, destroy anyone who contradicts him, let alone anyone who deigns to compete against him. I mean, if you're done with politics and you just want to be in charge forever by force, then no one can be allowed to contest the leader or to question the leader. Importantly, nobody can be allowed to offer any